Hi, my name is Danny. From a very early age, I've had a guardian angel. My guardian angel's called Sarah. And Sarah has visited me in lots and lots of different dreams. Very clear dreams. And as much as a memory as everything else I've got, even through the real life and experiences from getting around the country. So I decided to make this little movie / explanation to some of my dreams. So I'm going to start not at the very beginning, but a dream that's always kind of kept me thinking. So this first dream, I woke up in somewhere. It was very dark. Now I was a lot older when I had this dream, and I could see a lady in the middle of this dark cave, and I can remember she was in some sort of a circle. You could see the design on the outer side of what she was laying in, and she was just weeping, just crying. I mean, proper heart-wrenching weep to herself. You could just see something along the outside of this circle, but the walls were caving in some sort of a dome, so it wasn't very big. But as I walked up to her to say hello, I woke up. I don't know who the lady was at the time or what she was even doing there. But the explanation for that will be a little bit later through other dreams, which are connected. This is one of the reasons I'm telling my stories about my dreams, because and how I met Sarah. Now, I lost my brother to a tragic accident when I was 5 years old. Well, I was 4 actually, not 5. And a few things happened. There are in other stories if you want the full detail. But what happened is my brother passed, but I ended up going somewhere. And I ended up waking up in a garden. And I can remember this church being there. But it wasn't a very big church. And I've put that within my computer games because I just want to try and give you a visual to the stories, not just say it and just nothing be there. So it's not exactly the same. I could do better with some help, definitely. But this is the idea. Now, I've put my character, the Conan exiles character, because she's kind of an idea of who Sarah looks like. I keep looking for her. I've got thousands and hundreds and whatever of pictures. I'm just trying to get it right, but I've not got it right yet. Definitely not. But there's Sarah. Say hello, Sarah. And she's outside of the church. Now, when she was outside of the church, she gave me a cuddle when I was a young man, and all of a sudden she got really, really scared. And I don't know why she got scared, but she ran away, and I ran after her saying, please don't go, please don't go. And she disappeared into the clouds. And behind me was a big angry voice. And this woke me up. And that was it. I remember waking up when I was a young man, and that was part of that particular dream. Not too long after that dream, must have been maybe a year, I don't know exact dates, but I remember being in my bedroom as a young man, and I could sense 3 witches behind me, and they stretched from the bottom of the floor to the ceiling. Now, we had high ceilings, and I can remember the cauldron being in the middle, and I was making some sort of a spell. But I could see myself, even though I was awake. I could see the witches behind me, and as I went to sleep that night, I woke up in a graveyard. Now, the graveyard I've put within Conan. The blueprint is in my head. This build was so easy to make because I already had it there in my head. So it's kind of an idea of what I've seen. Not exactly. But I've gone into this graveyard and it was all purple in colour, everything. And you can see the tombstones and things like that. And I did notice the one over the end looked different to the rest of the other tombstones. I didn't realise it at the time, but I will be visiting this graveyard again. But I got to this door. And as I got to the door, all I heard was a mighty scream. And I mean, absolute and it woke me up. Absolutely scared, very scared. Boom, open. But then I had the same dream again, and I've gone into the graveyard. But I knew where I was this time, and I was looking around. So I went up to the door again, and all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. I just heard the pop, and I looked up. And there was the guardian angel. She came shooting out of the sky, straight behind the back of the door. Said I couldn't see nothing behind the door. It was just a door in the middle of nowhere. It didn't have a building to it or anything else like that. That's why I've put it on the build when it comes to what I'm trying to show you. And at the time, I didn't know what she did, but all of a sudden, boom. And that's where the scream came from. I didn't see it in the first dream, it was the second dream, but since that time, when that all happened, it all finished and I woke up, even as a young man, I've not ever had a bad dream, ever. My dreams have always been good, but some dreams are just dreams that you forget. But I've had a lot of dreams that are still a memory to this day, and they've all come together in this one story. So that's that dream for now, otherwise I'm going to forget and I don't know where to put it when I'm editing the video. So on to the next dream. Now this dream's quite important when it comes to the story. Right, we're in the graveyard as normal, and I'm looking around. Oh, I'm in the graveyard again. And I've gone up to the door just as normal, but this dream was 20 years. I was in my mid-30s when I had this dream. So I was quite surprised when I went in this dream, because by this time I'd been in dreams and I've been able to control my dreams. I can fly around if I think about it, that sort of thing. So when I know I'm in a dream, it's sometimes you just have a moment just to be a bit nosy, that sort of thing. And so I've gone onto the door as normal, but then all of a sudden, hang on, I was on the other side of the door, as if I was being shown what my guardian angel Sarah did that day, as if like I'd just gone back in time a little bit just to be shown what's going off. And she crashed into the cauldron, and as she crashed into the cauldron, just this big beam of light came out of the cauldron. And this big massive whirlwind tornado was spinning, and it started to lift me up. Oh, okay. And that's because you could see the witches, because I was quite scared to begin with, thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I'm on the wrong side. But when she crashed into it and all this explosion happened and whatever did, they kind of turned into a little bit of a whirlwind themselves. And all of a sudden they went from these not so nice looking witches and turned into 3 golden ghost angels. Now as I was lifted up, I remember the 2 to the right were the same size as me, and there was on my right hand side, and on the left hand side the other angel that seems to be the mum of sorts, so I'm not too sure. She was really big, so she was absolutely massive. She was towering over this graveyard. I remember all the gravestones and everything else. I do remember being on the other side of the door. It looked different, as if that bit was a different area. But as I looked down, I saw Sarah walk from the cauldron and just through a door in the middle of nowhere. It was like she didn't even acknowledge me on this dream at all, whatsoever. And I turned back and this golden ghost lady's talking. And I'm like, wow, she's really good looking, long flowy hair. She had some sort of a crown on, a very long flowy dress. And that's why I call her the golden ghost lady, because you could see through her. But she was looking at me as she was talking. I didn't hear her, I didn't. And I turned around to look at these other angels because, to be fair, it was really good looking. And because I can control a dream, I was like, okay, I wanted to have a nose at it. I was like, but they was dancing together in a circle, singing some sort of a song. I remember going clockwise. I think it was clockwise, yeah, that was dancing in. But as I've turned back to the left, I've come out of the dream, but she's still talking. But then I was fixated on just one of the tombs that looks, not tombs, the gravestones that look different. It looked like a little doghouse and it was broken and it had a fence around it and things like that. But then I woke up from the dream. But even though I woke up, I could see and kind of hear kind of the vibration of her voice, but I couldn't hear what she was saying. And she kept talking. And it must have been, I woke up at 9 o'clock. It went away about 12, 1 o'clock that day. So that's that dream. So we're going to go on to the next lot of dreams. Now these dreams, or all dreams together, it spread over a couple of days. So here we are in the graveyard. But I've flown around this graveyard before. When I was younger, I remember I was flying around, and it's one of the second times I'd met Sarah. And I went through this, like, it looked like a war zone of houses. And I remember flying through the window and thinking, why am I flying through the window when there's no bloody roof? But Sarah was there, but I didn't quite recognise her at the time. It was one of those first images I got of her. And I kept falling from dreams. And then you get that thing on a ride where you get the G-force. That's what used to wake me up. But this one, I learned to turn around, and I landed in the graveyard. But when I was in the graveyard, yes, I did see the door at the same time, but I remember looking to my left, and there were some steps going underground. I remember the iron fence that went round it, the trees that are at the back. There was a road to the left-hand side beyond the fence that separated the graveyard. And I remember being very, very scared. I didn't like that. I've been down it once before, maybe twice, but I've woke up every time I've got to the door. It was just an overwhelming feeling of something not nice. Now, when you think that there might be a ghost in the house and your ear stands on end, it was that feeling. And like I said, I woke up, but we're on to the next lot of dreams now. So I'm standing in the same place. I woke up in the same place every time, always in the same spot. So I've looked to my left, and this time, for whatever reason, I've gone down the stairs and the door's opened. How I did not wake up, I don't know, because that feeling, normally the feeling that was like, oh, what? But I've gone down these stairs and I couldn't see nothing. And all of a sudden I just saw this like glimmer of a light. And as I got closer, and I realised it was the lady in the centre of the earth. Now, these dreams are a lot later, guys. That one where I learned how to land was when I was a young man. So I'm talking, this is another one that was 20, 25 years later. And she's there, I'm like, and she's weeping. So I've run up to her this time. I walked up to her just to try and get hold of her. I knew I was in the same dream. I knew I was in the dream. And as I got closer and closer, I managed to put my hand on the top of her arm. And I went, "Are you okay?" She has just looked at me and gasped. And she absolutely, you know, when you jump when somebody's there and you blatantly weren't expecting it. And she's looked at me, but as she's gasped, I remember everything getting really, really bright. Bing! And I went into another dream. I wasn't there anymore. And I'm like, oh, where am I? And I was in Wembley Stadium. Now, I've never been to Wembley Stadium. I've only ever seen it on the telly. I don't really watch football, that sort of thing. And I can remember, it looked like an American stadium because the band wasn't a normal English brass band. It was the bands that you get in America when they're doing the bit for the American football, that sort of thing. I didn't see anybody actually playing a game, so it might not have been Wembley Stadium, but it had that roof, the shape of the roof, that sort of thing. And I can remember people being in the circle to the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, people are just pointing, taking pictures all over the place, you know, at the top of the roof lining, that sort of thing. And one guy was there, and he looked at me, and he went, "Looks like you was right, mate." But nobody else ever acknowledged me. But like I say, everyone's in a circle. I'm ready to sing a song. I was singing Bob Marley's "One Love," but it was at the end. I heard the end of the song, not the beginning. But as I've looked up, the people who was taking the pictures was getting evidence because they could see the golden ghost lady, the one I'd seen in the dreams before, in the stadium. They could see her, not just me. And from that bit, I woke up again. But no, I didn't wake up. I went straight to the third dream. Yeah, there was 3 dreams in a row, this one. And I don't normally do it that way, but hey, it was just one of those things. And everyone's in a circle again, but I'm in a local area of mine when I grew up, when I was a kid. And they're ready to sing the song also. But they're at the end of the song. But then I just woke up as normal, as if like it never happened. I was kind of waiting for them to sing the third song. But the explanation for the songs are in all the stories. But even now, I still don't know what the message is. And this is why I'm trying to tell people my dreams, because I want some help. I want to be able to try and find this graveyard or give you a proper description and somebody say, that looks like that place. And I go and visit it, and just to see if I can get something. Right, I'm going to go into a different dream now. I've told you about the Gone Ghost Lady. Like I say, if you want the proper stories, they're all in there. But this one in particular, it was kind of like, I don't even remember how old I was. I know I was a lot older because I was working at the time. But I ended up waking up and I'm flying around in some sort of chamber. Now, I've put it within the Conan Exiles thing that I've made, just to give you an idea of what it looked like. It's not exactly the same. I can draw better. With help, I could make it look better. But yeah, it looked like a Rubik's Cube. Yeah, and you've got the rods, as you can see, going through, and that they're coming from solar panels from outside, which draws the energy in. Now the energy goes through those cubes, which I've got something that magnetizes it, sends it through, electrifies the water, I think. I've kind of got an idea of everything in my head of how it should look like and what materials to use. And also how it electrifies the water, because I remember the water being blue more than anything else. But on the outer side of the cubes, it looked like solar panels, but darker solar panels. And I think that's, so when the energy got too much for the water, it started sparking out of the water and it's shooting all over the place. And that's why you got the black rods, because the black rods were collecting that energy, which was more powerful than the solar energy itself. And there was batteries outside. And the batteries, not batteries, they're solar panels, and batteries to charge as well. Now, the solar panels were from houses, lampposts, anything that we could collect energy from, all went through this one generator. And it powered the batteries. So, for example, the way it works is, if you've got one battery just for the solar panels, it might take 24 hours to charge. But, go through the chamber, the other battery that's being charged would only take an hour. It's a more powerful sort of energy, which potentially has a use of also being an engine for a vehicle, if you wish. Now I'm going to take you to Electric City first. It's just a little quick one, just to give you an idea. The build wasn't that great. It kept glitching because I've been building too much. And, well, basically, as you see the houses, I've done it where it's all white and things, and you've got the golden roof. Now, the gold is what represents the solar panels, because that's the best I've got. Now, each house is exactly the same. It has enough room for a family of two, mum, dad, and the kids. I've done it on that basis for the minute. It's just how it came in my head. And basically, it's for everyone to live in. Everyone's got a house because everyone's got a job. Everyone's shares. Everyone's got the same. I have told about Electric City, so listen to that story if you want to know more. But that's where it comes to another lot of dreams that kind of was all together. It was a 3-day dream in a sense, but it was always the same dream. I've woken up in this. It looks like a dam. It does look like a dam. Anyone played Burnout Paradise, there's a dam on that. It looks exactly the same as that, but it was just on a hill. And everyone's happy. Everyone's making something. And at the time, I enjoyed the vibe there. It was a good feeling of a dream. And the next minute, I could see some sort of a ship. But I didn't see the whole thing. It just reminded me of some big, massive bomber plane that I've seen on GTA. And I stood on the wings of it, but it was absolutely massive. But it had a little engine that was the electric generator that we was collecting the energy from the city to power the city. Because that generator powered the hospitals, it powered everything that we needed. But we didn't use the actual house to power our homes. We had separate batteries for our appliances. Oh, I'm getting too far into that one. I'm trying to explain this, or do excuse me. You want to listen to that one, Electric City? Have a listen. But I woke up from the dream. I didn't see the ship properly. I've got an idea what it is, now I've looked at my dreams again. I'll tell that story a bit later because it's a little bit more out there in the way of being a bit more bonkers. That's the dream so far. I've done it this way just so I can give some sort of a visual. And yes, I'm trying to bait you to go and listen to the other stories if possible. But it's for one purpose. I'd like people to stand up for a survey and be counted as an equal. And the basic line of it is, this story is a story of peace. And it's not fully from me. I am a very imaginative guy, but it has not left me alone. I've stopped dreaming. I've not dreamt for quite some time. It's just been the story over and over again, and it will not leave me alone. So I'm doing these stories, I'm doing the dreams, and I'm getting it out the best as I can because I need to get it out of my head. And I'd like to make money from it because I'd like to build Electric City, and not for those who's got money, for those who want to just live in peace and equality for everybody else. I want to make something that's cheap enough so when you buy a house you're not forking out shitloads of money that we can't afford. It's something that's only going to cost 25 grand. Oh, I'm getting too. So the perfect little story. I'm trying to get people to stand in a circle so we can sing for peace. But not just for peace. I want to share a smile of an angel with you. And this is a way I think I can actually prove it. Because this is the story that's been given to me. The blueprint's there. All I'm doing is telling you what's in my head right now. I do talk about having a mental health problem and things like that, but these stories are from when I was young, not from when I was older. And I don't understand how they've all made sense all of a sudden, and how I just feel this seems to be a purpose. I need to say it. And I feel like I'm sending out an echo, because I thought that echo was for me. Just to find my soulmate, so to speak. I do speak about it in all the stories. I've got a funny feeling that echo's for you. And the reason I want your help is I'd like people to listen to those stories and get to know the good and the bad side of the feeling I'm trying to give you. Not just a visual, it's a feeling. And see if you join me in a song and sing for peace.